Hello and welcome everyone. This is Blades and Blasters character creation tutorial for Boot Hill 3rd Edition. This is TetNak, and I'm going to be going through the Boot Hill character creation for everyone, as I just said. So let me just talk about Boot Hill real quick and make sure this music is not too loud, so I'm not talking over it. So Boot Hill 3rd Edition came out around 1990. For those who are some of our older gamers out there or more knowledgeable, you will know that Boot Hill is Gary Gygax's second role-playing game that he ever developed. Obviously, Boot Hill is a Western RPG, and we're going to go through the 3rd Edition rules for character creation. Here on Blades and Blasters, I will be running a Boot Hill campaign in a few months, and so I decided this is a good time to go ahead and do a character creation tutorial for everyone. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so we're looking at Sheriff Olson here. Sheriff Olson will be an NPC in our game, so let's go ahead and generate his statistics. Zypher and I have developed this nice character sheet for Boot Hill, which we will be uploading to Roll20 for public consumption at some point. Just not right now, but obviously you're going to do your very basics. We won't get much into all that stuff, but the first thing we do is generate attributes. Generating attributes, as you can see in the PDF, you have 3 methods to choose from. Method 1 is that you roll straight down the line and you place them directly in that order, no picking whatsoever, and that's just strength, coordination, observation, stature, and luck. Those are your attributes in Boot Hill. Just to give you a general gist of what each of those do, strength clearly is your, physical skills with, strength. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it gives a general gist of what your attributes kind of match up to based on what they are. Okay, coordination is very important. It's shooting a gun, right? How coordinated are you? It's like your dexterity stat. Observation is more like an awareness stat. What do you see? How well do you see? That sort of thing. Where it gets a little interesting is stature and luck. Stature and luck do not actually go to 20, even though this is a misprint here on the Boot Hill. Both of these go to 10 to start. You cannot, stature can go above 10, but to start it can only go to 10. This is how well known you are. Luck is a catch-all stat. There are, whenever you roll a 20, you roll against your luck stat and to see if you can confirm a critical. So it's like rolling a 2d20 twice, right, or a d20 twice on that. So all right, let's get started here. Method 2 is the one we're going to be using in the game. Is you roll and you can place them anywhere you'd like. Okay, so you roll only so many times and then you place them where you would like. Method 3 is you roll quite a few times. Let's see, I think you roll 8. Then modify them, then put them where they need to go. What you need to know is, let me find this in here, where the modifications are. Let's just roll and we'll get to it. Here it is. Okay, so we're going to do method 2, and we're going to roll. So let's roll. All right, we roll 5 times. 5d20. All right, pretty good rolls, actually. So the 12 is what? Does it get modified? A 12 gets modified by a +2, so it's 14. The 9 gets modified by +3, that's a 12. The 19 probably isn't modified. Yep, 19 is not modified. 19. Then the 6 is modified by 3, so 9. And then the last one is a 11, and that is modified by +2, bumped to 13. So these will be our 5 attributes: 14, 12, 19, 9, and 13. By method 2, I can put them wherever I want. This guy is, we'll say, very good at spotting things. We'll give him a 19 in observation, a 14 coordination, a, let's see, 12 in strength. So that leaves a 9 and a 13 left. So the reason I waited for the last on those is I wanted to specifically show you how stature and luck works. So if you look at this, character stature and luck scores are divided by 2 with fractions rounded up. Before recording them, these half scores are a character's final strength or stature and luck scores. Okay. So example, a player dice rolls, and he has his dice rolls, and then he modifies them, and then he divides them. Okay. So if he's going in order, the 13 would be bumped by 2 to 15, which is divided by 2, and then it's rounded up. Okay. All right. All right. So we have a 9 and a 13. So you divide a 9 by 2, and it's 4.5. Rounded up, you get 5. So we'll say his luck is a 5. Or let's actually say his stature is a 5. Not when people know the sheriff. And 13 is as well. 13 divided by 2 rounded up is a 7. So his luck is 7. Okay? So that's how you generate your primary attributes in Boot Hill. That moves us on to skills. Boot Hill has a lot of skills, 62 in fact, and most of them are actually work skills. If you look at the working part of the sheet, lots of skills, and then there's a few combat skills as well. So basically, how many skills you get at the beginning of the game is determined by how many attribute points you have. You see I've added up our attribute points to 57. If you look at what that means for us, 41 through 62, you get 8 skills. Half of those have to be work skills, and half can be combat skills if you would like. So then we need to choose what those are. Okay, that's our first goal. Let's go down to the combat skills first, knowing that he is going to at least have to have some competency in a weapon. We're going to use 2 of those skill points in here for weapon, or for pistol. So he can draw the steel, right? Handy with the steel. So when you put skill points into weapon skills, it's just one for each time you give it to them. So he gets 8, so that's 2 of his 8, so he has 6 more left. If we go up to working skills, if we look at this, we can look down the line at something that makes sense. I'm sure there is. Fast draw is a pretty important one. Let's do that. So to determine that, we roll 1d10, or 2d10, and then we put that in there. So 12, so he gets a 12 in fast draw, that's 3 over 8. What else? Law makes sense, right? Let's do it again. 14 is the law. Good. So that is 4 of 8. So that's half of our skills. What else makes sense for the sheriff here? Riding makes good sense. He's got to ride a horse. Oh boy, he's good at riding a horse. Good. This guy's a good rider. That's 5 of our 8. let's see. How about tracking? Not that great at tracking. Where did it go? There it is. 7. Alright, so I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 6 of 8. We'll give him 1 in rifle. And let's do leadership. 19. Wow, this guy is rolling unbelievably well. Okay. Alright, so that's all his skills. That's how you generate them. So the differences between working skills is you roll 2d10, and you add that to whatever skill you want. And then for weapon skills, you just get 1 per whatever time you add your skill to it. So for instance, I did pistol twice, so that gave me 2 in pistol. I did rifle once, so that put 1 rifle. And then the working skills you actually roll for. That's what we'll do is we'll get on to a system tutorial later on, and I'll talk about the really interesting combat system of Boot Hill, which is completely different from most anything you've ever seen before. It's very interesting, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So we'll get into that later. That's generally how you generate a character for skills and attributes. And that is about it. The last thing we can do is add a weapon. How you get your weapons is up to your GM, but what I've done here is I've just added a single action revolver, and you can see that I've inputted the stats for that, which is all good. And then Sheriff Olson is ready to go as far as character creation goes. And that is it for Boot Hill 3rd Edition. In the next coming weeks, I'll be adding a Boot Hill system tutorial, and we'll go over the basics of Boot Hill. Hopefully all that will be done before the game runs, and that way you out there on YouTube and my players as well here at B&B will be able to look at that stuff, and so it might help anyone out there. I hope it does. And I guess I should say one thing before we go, and that's your wound limit, which you can see here. This is auto-derived on the sheet here in Roll20 that I've created, but your wound limit does equal your strength, so keep that in mind when you're doing your character creation. And that is how many wound points you can take before you are dead. So everyone, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please ask below, or please join us in the B&B fan club, and I'd be happy to discuss Boot Hill or any other role-playing game that you have any questions about. And I appreciate the time. Thank you, guys.